All right, I'm back with another financial plan from someone I talked to yesterday. I'm going to try and tighten this stuff up so it's faster and I don't say so a million times, um, and make it a little bit quicker, but still easy to understand. The plan I'm doing today is okay, if you're a young person and you want to work on the rigs, right? Um, I see this all the time where you work two on, one off, or whatever. So you work your ass off, then you come back and you party and or do a lot of fun stuff, and you get into this cycle where you never really get ahead too much because you're used to making that money. But if you've been working on rigs for a long time, there's a cyclical nature to oil. Sometimes sometimes it's going really really good. You're getting lots of overtime, and other times you're stuck and you got nothing to do because your rig shut down or whatever. So this video is if you're a young person, single, and you decide to go work on the rigs, how can you be ridiculously wealthy and put in the least amount of time on the rigs? There's nothing wrong with working on the rigs, but it does make life difficult when you're not in a relationship, when you're not home for a week, or if you have children and you're missing 2 weeks of their life for 1 week on, right? Like, you know, there's a lot of times where when you're younger, it's easier to do it because you don't have so much responsibility, but you don't. Some people don't want to do it forever. If you want to do it forever, that's awesome. I can show you how you can get really wealthy that way too. But the main thing is, how do you actually use this crazy sum of money that you can get with a minimal amount of experience to its best potential? Okay. All right. So here is our test or hypothetical case. Okay. So this is Robert. Robert was born in 1995. He wants to retire at age 60. He's making $150,000 on the rigs. I've set the monthly savings to 5,000. I'll go over that in a second. Why you would do that. In terms of the RSP room that he has right now, there's zero, and the tax-free savings account room's at 56,000. Okay. Two things. TFSA room, you get 6,000 every year. There's been years where it's more or less, and it depends on how old you were when the program started. So for me, because I'm old as dirt, I have $81,500 worth of room. For someone who was born in 1995, you get $56,000 worth of room. You get this room whether you use it or not. So next year, this Robert would have 62,000 because they even if they don't use it, everybody gets this space. Okay. Tax free savings account, put money in, it grows, you don't pay tax on it. RSP, put money in, you get a bigger tax refund, but you have to pay tax on it in the future. Okay. We also have the rate of return at 7%, which should be pretty reasonable based off of someone that this young. A note about RSPs. This is really important to know. This is a website you can go to. It's called Ernst & Young tax calculator. There's lots of different sites that do this, but take a look at this, right? So if you make $150,000 and you're working in Alberta or living in Alberta, right? You have to file where you live. So in BC, you'd pay 41,000 in taxes, Alberta 41. Like you can see there's different tax brackets based off where you file. After tax income is about 180,000. It's awesome. That's, over $10,000 a month that you have in your pocket. Now, if you make a lot of money, the reason why I'm suggesting you use an RSP is right here. Okay. Whatever you put into your RSP, the government will give you the taxes you paid on that back. Okay. So if you make $150,000, that means on the next dollar you make, it's 38%. If you make $100,000, so here's just the difference, right? So at 150, it was 41,000. If you made 100,000, you only pay 21,000 in tax. So half the tax is owing, right? But you only made 50% more. Now, what this means is if you did a $50,000 RSP contribution, you would get $20,000 back from the government. Okay. If you get to a very low tax bracket, like 40,000, let's say, RSPs aren't that useful anymore because you will the thing is RSPs are taxable in the future. So if you're making 40 grand now and your tax payable is very low, you're going to pay the same amount of tax on those dollars in the future. So it makes no sense. What you want to do is have a high income like this, 150,000, max out your RSP. So every year you get 28% of what you made. in terms of contribution room. I'll do other videos where I go into this more depth. But at the end of the day, what we're doing is maxing out the RSP every year, using the refund and investing that as well. Okay. So that, 10, 11, $12,000 that comes back from doing your taxes because you did the RSP contribution, we're going to use that to fill up the tax-free savings account. When we go to the summary view here, so again, making 150,000, that gives you 108,000 after taxes. That gives you more than 10 grand a month. So if we go, 10, actually, I'll do it exactly. So if we had 108,000 divided by 12, so you got $9,000. Sorry, yeah, my math was off. $9,000 a month minus 5 grand, which you're putting into savings. That gives you 4 grand to live. If you're a single person, okay, and you're in camp for 2 weeks out of the month, however you're doing it, I don't know what the exact on off all those things are, but this is just hypothetical. Probably 4 grand a month will take care of you because you don't have to be living and spending money at home while you're in camp. Okay, so if you can figure out how to put 5 grand a month, this is where you're going to be in 5 years. So in 2027, you work your butt off. You'd have 110,000 in your TFSA, 152,000 in your RSP, $136,000 in your non-registered account, and you're 32, right? That's a huge down payment on a house. That's a great start for your life. You could quit the rigs. You could, go fall in love. You could do a completely different job, but you're starting from a position where that amount of money will have make a significant difference in your life long term, right? And that's putting in 5 years working on the rigs. If you decided to put in 10 years instead and you kept the plan going, you'd probably make more money. So there'd probably be more going to savings. But we're just saying, or maybe you're spending more, but we're just keeping that $5,000 a month going into the different accounts and making 7%. You'd have $371,000 in your non-registered account. So this is money where you don't get any tax breaks on it. 346,000 in your RSP and 174,000 in your tax-free savings account. That right there, if you never saved another dollar, so you stopped working the rigs, you're 37, and you just left that alone and started a new career, you could use some of that, that non-registered money to buy a home, whatever. You'd be set for life because that money will continue to grow. You don't need to add any more to it because of the amount of the nest egg you've already built up will take you in the next 23 years to age 60, and it will grow another couple times. So you'll be way over $1 million. If you decide to keep working, let's say you're 27, so let's say 20 years, well, now you have $2 million. So you have $1 million in the non-registered account, 900,000 in your RSP, and 358,000 in your TFSA. You could probably just retire. At 47, you could probably just retire. The amount of money that you have would generate enough income to make up that 150,000, right? So the long and short of it is there's not really another opportunity out there where you can start making such a high income and start saving such a large amount when you're so young. Usually you have to do an entry-level job. You have to start at like 50 grand a year. Maybe after 10 years, you're up to like $90,000. If there's a pension involved, great. But if not, this is huge, right? You could be 50 years old. Like if we go to 50 here, you could be 50 years old and spend the rest of your life traveling, spend the rest of your life having fun. You're still having fun all the way along here, right? Because if you're starting at 150,000 now, you'll be making more. You still have 4 grand a month to blow. Maybe when you get to age 30 here, you take that money and you're buying a house. So long and short of it is that if this is something that you're interested in and you want to talk to someone about it, message me, leave a comment. I'll get in touch with you. Do this Plans Well thing. Get your information in there, because the sooner that we can connect, or the sooner you can connect with someone like me and get this going, the better off you're going to be for the rest of your life. The other thing here is that these investments that I'm suggesting at 7%, they're not crypto. They're not penny stocks. These are banks, utilities, big energy companies, right? These are not things where we have to take a ridiculous amount of risk and potentially lose all the money you have to achieve these goals, right? So, hopefully that's helpful. Again, do the plans well thing if you want me to look at your situation. Um, Ask questions. I'll do other videos in terms of when you should do a TFSA or when you should do an RSP and the pros and cons. But yeah, I had a conversation with someone on the weekend here that um, made sense to do a video and show you guys what, well, I mean, I know it's hard work, but you know, compared to doing a lot of other jobs, if you tough this out for 10 years till age 37, you would be the richest 37-year-old that I know, right? So hopefully that helps. Yeah, hit me up on with a comment or, like I said, do the plans well thing, and we can talk more.